The story begins in the icy tundras of Antarctica, an unforgiving wilderness where survival demands both resilience and unity. The sun hangs low in the sky, casting a pale, silvery glow over the vast frozen expanse. It is here that a bustling flock of emperor penguins embarks on their annual migration, a journey vital for their survival. Hundreds of black and white bodies huddle and shuffle across the snow, their movements synchronized like the beat of a drum. The air is filled with their distinct calls, a sound that resonates across the frozen landscape, a testament to their communal strength. Among them is Pippin, a baby penguin who stands out not for his size but for his spirit. With soft gray downy feathers and wide curious black eyes that glint with wonder, Pippin struggles to keep up with the towering adults. He waddles quickly, his small flippers flapping for balance, occasionally slipping on the icy terrain. The world around him is vast and intimidating, yet every step he takes is filled with determination. But as the flock marches forward, a sudden shuffle, a slip, or perhaps a misstep leaves Pippin stranded. The tightly packed waddle moves on, oblivious to the absence of the smallest among them. Pippin pauses, glancing around with growing alarm as the imposing figures of his family disappear over a distant ridge, their silhouettes fading into the white oblivion. His cries are frantic now, a piercing plea that echoes across the barren tundra, but no response comes. The vastness of the ice seems to mock him with its silence, the only reply the howling wind that cuts through his feathers and stings his skin. He tries to run, his tiny feet slipping on the ice, but his efforts are futile. Exhaustion sets in, and Pippin collapses onto the frozen ground, his breath coming in ragged gasps. The weight of his predicament presses down on him. The flock is gone, and he is alone. Shadows begin to creep across the horizon as the Antarctic sun dips lower. The faint shapes of predators, hulking figures with gleaming eyes and a predator's gait, stir in the distance. They move with purpose, their attention now drawn to the lone, defenseless chick. The air grows heavier with a sense of impending danger, but Pippin is not entirely helpless. His wide eyes, once filled with innocence, now reflect something new: determination. He gathers his small frame, puffing out his chest as if to ward off the overwhelming fear. His instincts, sharpened by the harsh reality of his surroundings, kick in. Despite his fear, Pippin knows he must act. The icy terrain stretches endlessly before him, dotted with treacherous crevices and slick ridges. Shelter is scarce, and the bitter cold gnaws at his resolve. Yet, something inside him refuses to give in. He begins to move, his small feet slipping and sliding but always pressing forward. Each step is a battle, but Pippin is undeterred. The shadows draw closer, their movements deliberate, but Pippin's mind is already racing. The little penguin may be small, but he is clever. He recalls the stories told by the elders of his colony, tales of bravery, resourcefulness, and survival against all odds. As the predators approach, their forms now visible, sleek, menacing seals with piercing eyes and sharp teeth, Pippin makes a decision. He is not just running from danger, he is running toward survival. His small size becomes an advantage, allowing him to dart into narrow crevices and hide among jagged ice formations. The predators, larger and less agile, are momentarily thwarted. Night begins to fall, cloaking the tundra in a deep, bone-chilling cold. The sky above is a tapestry of stars, their light reflecting off the ice and snow, casting an ethereal glow. Alone beneath the vast expanse of the universe, Pippin realizes that his journey is far from over. Yet, in his heart, a flame of hope burns brighter than ever. Though the flock has left him, Pippin is determined not to let the odds define his fate. He will brave the icy wilderness, face down every predator, and perhaps discover something extraordinary within himself, an indomitable spirit that refuses to be extinguished. Pippin's story is only beginning, and the icy tundra, for all its dangers, is now his proving ground. Pippin's fight for survival begins in earnest as he sets out across the frozen expanse, his tiny figure dwarfed by the immensity of the Antarctic wilderness. The biting wind howls around him, cutting through his downy feathers like a blade. The once bustling sounds of the flock are now a distant memory, replaced by the eerie silence of the tundra, broken only by the occasional groan of shifting ice. Each step is a challenge. The ice beneath his feet is slick and treacherous, and the ever-present danger of hidden crevasses keeps him on edge. Pippin moves cautiously, his large black eyes scanning his surroundings. The distant shadows of seals, sleek and predatory, slither in and out of view. They are relentless hunters, and Pippin knows he must remain vigilant. His small size and quick reflexes help him dart into narrow gaps and behind ice formations. Driven by a panic burning in his eyes, he wiggles his way around the bare shelf world, half conscious of the former winter on the cliff, securing a multi-phasic separation, driven by a fierce will to survive. As the hours stretch into days, the toll of solitude begins to weigh on him. The cold bites deeper and his energy wanes. Hunger gnaws at his belly, and the stark emptiness around him threatens to overwhelm his resolve. Just as despair begins to creep in, a flash of movement catches his eye. A figure, smaller than the seals but larger than himself, emerges from the haze of a distant snowstorm. Pippin freezes, unsure whether to flee or approach, but his curiosity wins out. As the figure comes closer, he sees it is another penguin, though not like the towering adults of his flock. This penguin is slightly older than he is, with sleek black and white plumage that glistens in the pale light. The newcomer, an Adelie penguin named Tiva, regards Pippin with wary eyes. At first, Tiva seems hesitant, as though debating whether to help the little chick or leave him to his fate. But something about Pippin, perhaps his wide, hopeful eyes, or the sheer determination etched into his every movement, sparks a flicker of empathy in the older penguin. With a sharp chirp, Tiva gestures for Pippin to follow, and the two unlikely companions set off together. Despite their differences, a heartwarming bond quickly begins to form. Tiva, who has been surviving alone for weeks, takes on a protective role, teaching Pippin essential survival skills. She shows him how to recognize the thin sheen of ice over a crevasse, how to listen for the warning cries of birds signaling a predator's approach, and where to find scraps of food hidden beneath the snow or trapped in icy pools. Food is scarce, and every morsel they find is shared between them. On one particularly harsh day when a brutal snowstorm rages around them, Tiva wraps her flippers around Pippin to shield him from the worst of the wind, sacrificing her warmth to keep the little chick alive. In return, Pippin's unrelenting optimism and wide-eyed wonder remind Tiva of the hope she once carried, rekindling her own will to keep going. Together, they brave the elements, they traverse treacherous ice fields, climb jagged ridges, and navigate through blinding snowstorms that obscure everything around them. The predators that once haunted Pippin's every step are now met with clever strategies devised by Tiva, whose sharp instincts and quick thinking often lead them to safety. One day, as they huddled beneath a natural ice arch to escape the fierce midday sun, Pippin chirps softly, asking why Tiva chose to help him. Tiva pauses, her gaze distant. She reveals that she, too, was once part of a flock, but an accident during a hunt left her stranded. She had survived alone by sheer grit, but the loneliness had been her greatest enemy. Helping Pippin, she admits, gave her a sense of purpose she thought she had lost. Their journey is far from over, but together they face the challenges of the Antarctic wilderness with a renewed sense of hope. Pippin, once a lost and frightened chick, begins to grow braver and more resourceful under Tiva's guidance, and Tiva, hardened by her time alone, softens as she rediscovers the power of companionship. In the harshest of landscapes, their bond becomes a beacon of resilience and a testament to the strength found in friendship. As they press on, the horizon no longer seems so daunting, for they have each other, and together, they are unstoppable. The journey takes a harrowing turn when the wind picks up and a massive blizzard begins to engulf the icy landscape. The sky darkens as snow falls in thick, blinding sheets, and the once familiar terrain is erased by the storm's ferocity. Pippin and Tiva struggle against the gale, their small bodies buffeted by the relentless wind. Each step feels like a battle, and the cold bites deeper, threatening to sap their strength. Pippin, now visibly stronger than when his journey began, fights to keep up with Tiva. His little legs churn through the snow, but the deep drifts and howling wind make every movement a monumental effort. His gray feathers are flecked with frost, and his breaths come in ragged gasps. Tiva, ever the protector, notices his struggle and slows her pace, her keen instincts guiding her to spots where the wind's fury is slightly less severe. At one point, as the storm reaches its peak, Pippin stumbles and collapses into the snow, his energy nearly depleted. Tiva immediately circles back, nudging him to his feet with her beak and positioning her body to shield him from the worst of the storm. She chirps encouragingly, urging him to keep moving, knowing that stopping for too long in this frozen chaos could mean the end. Through sheer determination, the pair presses on, their bond growing even stronger in the face of adversity. Just when the storm's wrath seems unbearable, a dark silhouette emerges in the distance. Squinting against the snow, Tiva leads Pippin toward it, her heart pounding with cautious hope. As they draw closer, the shape resolves into an abandoned research station, a relic of human presence in this remote and desolate place. The station, a low, weather-beaten structure partially buried in snow, offers a stark contrast to the icy wilderness. Its walls, though rusted and worn, provide a much-needed barrier against the storm. The duo squeezes through a small opening, finding themselves in a dimly lit interior filled with remnants of human life. Inside, they discover old cans of food scattered among overturned chairs and a layer of frost that clings to every surface. A stack of faded maps lies on a table, their edges curled with age, depicting a world that seems impossibly distant from their own. The station's eerie stillness is broken only by the occasional groan of the wind outside. For the first time in what feels like ages, Pippin and Tiva find a moment of respite. The shelter offers a reprieve from the storm, and the discovery of the canned food, though foreign to them, provides sustenance. They peck cautiously at the remains of a long-expired meal, grateful for even the smallest bit of energy it provides. But the station, though a temporary haven, is not without its dangers. Outside, in the shadow of the blizzard, a leopard seal lurks. The monstrous predator, with its sleek, muscular body and jagged teeth, has been stalking the area, drawn by the scent of potential prey. Its movements are slow and deliberate, its piercing eyes scanning the landscape for the slightest sign of movement. Unaware of the immediate threat, Pippin and Tiva begin to explore the station, their curiosity piqued by the strange objects left behind by humans. Pippin chirps excitedly as he finds a shiny piece of metal, while Tiva examines the maps with cautious interest, her sharp instincts never fully relaxing. The moment of peace is shattered when a low, guttural sound echoes from outside, a sound that freezes them both in place. Tiva's head snaps toward the noise, her body tense and alert. She recognizes the sound immediately, the warning growl of a predator. The leopard seal, having tracked them to the station, is now circling the structure, its powerful body gliding effortlessly across the snow and ice. It waits patiently, its predatory instincts honed to perfection, knowing that sooner or later its prey will have to emerge. Inside, Tiva and Pippin huddle together, their bond tested once again. Tiva's sharp mind races, formulating a plan to outwit the deadly predator. She knows that staying inside forever is not an option. The storm will pass and they must continue their journey. But leaving too soon could mean facing the seal's lethal jaws. With the storm still raging outside and danger closing in, the pair prepares for what could be their most perilous challenge yet. The abandoned station, once a beacon of hope, has become a trap, and their survival will depend on their courage, cunning, and unwavering trust in one another. The leopard seal's attack is sudden and terrifying, a blur of muscle and speed slicing through the icy landscape. One moment, Pippin and Tiva are cautiously stepping out of the abandoned research station, scanning for any signs of danger. The next, the monstrous predator bursts from behind a jagged ice formation, its sleek body undulating with jagged teeth, snapped dangerously close, sending shards of ice flying. The world seems to narrow to that one instant, an explosion of fear, motion, and survival instinct. Tiva acts without hesitation, her sharp instincts kicking in. She chirps loudly, drawing the seal's attention away from Pippin. With a burst of speed, she darts across the ice, her black and white plumage a stark contrast against the frozen ground. Her movements are deliberate, calculated, as she leads the predator away, buying precious seconds for the younger penguin. "Run!" Her actions seem to scream, and Pippin doesn't need to be told twice. His small form scrambles across the ice, his feet slipping but finding purchase just in time. His heart pounds in his chest as he hears the thunderous sounds of the chase behind him, the guttural growls of the leopard seal, the sharp cracks of ice beneath Tiva's rapid strides. The scene is heart-pounding, every second stretching into what feels like an eternity. The seal, relentless in its pursuit, switches targets as it senses Pippin's vulnerability. With terrifying speed, it changes direction, barreling toward the chick. Pippin's eyes widen in panic as he feels the predator's hot breath, its snapping jaws inches from his tail. But Pippin's journey has transformed him. He is no longer the helpless chick left behind by his flock. He zigzags across the ice, dodging and weaving with surprising agility. His small size allows him to slip through tight spaces and over precarious ridges that the seal struggles to navigate. Still, the predator is relentless, its hunger driving it forward with terrifying determination. The chase takes them across a treacherous expanse of fractured ice, each step a gamble. Pippin's breath comes in ragged gasps as the seal gains ground, its powerful body propelling it closer and closer. Just when it seems all is lost, a glimmer of hope appears. A dark opening in the ice ahead, barely visible against the blinding white of the tundra. An ice cave, hidden and narrow, offers the faintest promise of safety. Summoning every ounce of strength, Pippin propels himself forward, his small frame darting through the entrance of the cave, just as the seal lunges. The predator's jaws snap shut on empty air, its momentum carrying it too far to follow. Frustrated, it lets out a furious growl, thrashing against the ice but unable to fit through the narrow opening. Inside the cave, Pippin collapses, his chest heaving as he struggles to catch his breath. The silence that follows is deafening, broken only by the distant roars of the seal outside. For a moment, relief washes over him, but it is fleeting. Where is Tiva? Fear grips him as he peers back toward the opening. The seconds stretch unbearably until, at last, a familiar figure appears. Tiva, battered but alive, stumbles into the cave, her sleek plumage ruffled and marked by shallow scratches. She limps slightly, her exhaustion evident, but her eyes still burn with determination. Pippin rushes to her side, chirping softly in concern. Tiva nudges him gently with her beak, her gesture saying more than words ever could. "We made it." This week, the two penguins huddled together in the relative safety of the ice cave, the echoes of the seal's frustration fading into the distance. The moment is profound, their bond cemented by the shared peril they have survived. Tiva's bravery and selflessness have saved Pippin's life, and in turn, Pippin's resilience and quick thinking have led them to safety. In the dim, icy light of the cave, they realize the truth that has carried them this far. Their strength lies in their partnership. Alone, the Antarctic wilderness might have claimed them, but together, they have become a force of nature. As the storm outside begins to subside and the seal's presence fades, Pippin and Tiva rest, their spirits bolstered by their victory. The journey ahead remains uncertain, filled with dangers yet to be faced, but for the first time, they feel truly prepared. In each other, they have found not just survival but hope, a glimmer of warmth in the coldest of places. The climax of the story unfolds as Pippin and Tiva, after enduring countless challenges, finally spot the distant silhouettes of the main flock. The sight is almost surreal. a sea of black and white figures moving in unison across the icy expanse, their calls carrying faintly on the wind. For Pippin, it is a beacon of hope, the culmination of an arduous journey filled with peril, growth, and unyielding determination. As they draw closer, Pippin hesitates, a mixture of excitement and apprehension bubbling within him. Tiva nudges him gently, her encouragement unspoken but palpable. Together they waddle toward the flock, their presence quickly noticed by the penguins nearest the edges. A ripple of recognition spreads through the group as Pippin's distinct chirp echoes. The elders of the flock, towering figures with regal postures and piercing eyes, step forward, their gazes fixed on Pippin. His soft gray feathers are now tinged with white, a visible sign of his growth and transformation. He no longer carries the timidity of the chick left behind. Instead, he stands with newfound confidence, bolstered by the trials he has faced and the bond he has formed with Tiva. Pippin approaches the elders, his small chest puffed out with pride. He chirps clearly, recounting his journey with a mix of determination and humility. His story, though simple in its words, is profound in its meaning, a testament to survival, courage, and the importance of companionship. Tiva, ever the quiet hero, steps forward as well. Her sleek black and white plumage shines in the sunlight, and the flock greets her with admiration and gratitude. Whispers of her bravery, how she protected Pippin, stood against a predator, and guided him back, spread rapidly. The flock surrounds her, their warmth and acceptance a stark contrast to the solitude she had endured for so long. Then, from within the crowd, Pippin's parents emerge. Their cries of recognition pierce the air, filled with a mixture of joy, relief, and guilt for having lost him. They rush forward, embracing him tightly, their flippers wrapping protectively around him, as if to shield him from all the hardships he had faced. Pippin chirps back, reassuring them with a maturity far beyond his years. The reunion is deeply emotional, tears glistening in the eyes of those who watch. Even the elders, stoic by nature, nod in approval, recognizing not just Pippin's resilience, but the strength of the bond between him and Tiva. As the flock begins to regroup, preparing to continue their migration, Pippin and Tiva find a quiet moment to themselves. They stand side by side, their eyes meeting in an unspoken exchange of gratitude and respect. Pippin chirps softly, his tone filled with affection, and Tiva responds with a gentle nudge. They may part ways soon, but their friendship is unshakable. A bond forged in the harshest of circumstances and tempered by trust and sacrifice. The sun dips lower on the horizon, casting a fiery glow across the icy landscape. The flock forms a massive silhouette against the vibrant colors of the sky, their collective strength and unity a testament to the resilience of nature. Pippin and Tiva stand at the heart of it, their figures small but no less significant. As the flock begins to move, Pippin takes his place among them, no longer the fragile chick he once was, but a symbol of hope and perseverance. Tiva, now an honorary member of the group, follows close by, her once lonely journey transformed into one of belonging and purpose. The story ends with the flock fading into the distance, their silhouettes merging with the fiery hues of the setting sun. It is a moment of profound beauty, a reminder that even in the harshest conditions, resilience, friendship, and hope can light the way forward. The story teaches that resilience and courage can help overcome even the harshest challenges, especially when bolstered by the strength of friendship and trust. It reminds us that growth comes from facing adversity, and that bonds formed in tough times can light the path to hope and belonging.